Good evening and welcome to Wednesday, December 6th, 2021, 6 p.m. A special planning commission meeting. The meeting will now come in order. Pursuant to Assembly Bill 361, please be advised members of the planning commission might participate in today's meeting. Telephonic members of the public might view and listen to the meeting live online through the city website as noted on the agenda. Tonight's invocation will be given by Ms. Morales and Pledge Allegiance will be led by Ms. Flores. Everybody stand, please.
Lord, as we gather in your name, please bless this meeting and everyone present. Direct and assist us with your wisdom into making the right decisions. May our decisions bring fruitfulness and blessings for the future and the betterment of this community. In your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, now for the Pledge of Allegiance, please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can you please give me a roll call, clerk?
Yes. Commissioner De La Rosa,
Present.
Flores,
Present.
Leon,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Villalobos,
Present.
Chairperson Rivera.
Present.
Thank you.
At this time, the city attorney will give us about some public comments. Mr. Lloyd.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Rivera. So tonight we have two public hearing items. Both of them have their own public comments, so we'll go right into public hearing number one, which will have its own public comment.
Full hearing item number one is general plan consistently for proposed summary, a street vacation of the segment of Habaneria Road and Schultz Street. May we have the staff report, please?
Yes, Chairperson, there's somebody that is not muted, Mr. Rivera. Thank you. Thank you. Chairperson Rivera and members of the Planning Commission. This item involves the finding of a general plan consistency for the proposed summary vacation of a segment of a street located on Jaboneria Road and Schultz Street. Just to give the commissioners with a brief background on this item, the city of Bell Gardens is considering entering into a billboard lease agreement with Upfront Media for the construction of a new billboard sign on the public right-of-way segment along Jaboneria Road and Schultz Street. As you recall, the city recently went through a lengthy process for a similar type of a sign on Clara Street, close to the city boundary with the city of Cudahy and the casino parking lot. So this will be the second billboard sign, electronic billboard sign, that would be constructed in the city. However, prior to the construction of the billboard sign, and the city has to go through multiple meetings to get this sign approved and constructed, but this is the very first step to the process. And the first step to the process is that prior to the construction of the billboard sign, the city must vacate the segment and create a separate parcel of land on which the billboard would be located. Pursuant to Government Code Section 65402, the city is required to make a finding of consistency with the City of Bell Gardens general plan circulation element before the vacation of the street is approved. Following this meeting, the City Council will then hear on December 13th, next week on Monday, an item to consider the proposed vacation or summer vacation of the section of the street, again on Jaboneria Road and Shoal Street segment. Just a general location of the site. The site itself is shown on the map in red. It is at the very end of Shoal, where Shoal and Jaboneria Road meet by the 710 freeway and the formerly known Burke Oil site, even if you can point to that. The site itself, the portion that is proposed for vacation, is approximately 2,819 square feet. North of the site is the Julia Asmas Park. South of the site is an industrial site that is presently vacant. East of the site are is Shoal Street and industrially zoned properties as well as residential zone properties. And to the west is we have the 710 freeway. This slide shows a picture of the general location of the area that we're talking about at its current state. Right now, again, the site is vacant behind that fence. There is a combination of chain link fence and 6-foot high retaining wall. And so that's the area that the city is considering vacating. The next 3 slides, I'm going to turn the presentation over to our city engineer, Doug Benash, who is part of the meeting tonight, so he can walk the commissioners through what the city is considering. Doug?
Well, thank you very much. Well, tonight we're showing, as part of the vacation and the, pardon me, part of the vacation process is the creation of a legal description of the actual land that will be vacated, which will be incorporated into a grant deed once the vacation is approved. This is a legal description that formally describes that land of former right-of-way in its written sense. Next slide, please. This is a plat showing the area that is that is described by the legal description. The boundaries are shown with bearings and distances, and it shows everything that's going to be vacated as part of this. What we are doing also is reserving 5 feet. We're maintaining additional 5 feet of right-of-way for future sidewalk when the Shoal or Burke Oil property ever comes into development in the future. And this is how it actually lays out and what is being vacated. To the north line of the crosshatched area is part of the Azimuth Park and part of the existing roadway that's been developed already. Next slide. And this is just an aerial view of what we're dedicating from the standpoint and area of impact. As you see the red colored V, that is actually the proposed billboard site, and it fits right in there accordingly. And the boundaries being defined accordingly. This is, of course, Habanera Road. Obviously, if you look at some of the previous slides, did extend through the 710 freeway, but then it was cut off and vacated as part of the 710 project prior to the freeway system being installed. So, next slide. So what we're showing as part of the analysis is that the Habanera and Shoal areas are no longer required for public street purposes for the city of Bell Gardens. The vacation will not affect any of the current public street access for the adjacent landowners and/or the city and/or Caltrans. And then the Summer Street vacation of Habanera and the Shoal Street segment as a public local street will be consistent and conform with the circulation element of the Bell Gardens general plan. Next slide. And staff is recommending that the planning commission open the public hearing and adopt resolution PC 2021-10, finding that the summary street vacation is consistent with the general plan. We'll entertain any questions.
So at this point, Chairperson Rivera and members of the Planning Commission, if you have any questions to staff, you may move on to that portion of the meeting. But this concludes our presentation for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. At this time, I will open public hearing and receive public testimony. City Clerk, is anyone wishing to speak on this item?
Yes, Chair, we have one written comment. We'll now open the lines to see if there's anyone else wishing to speak. The members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on item number 1 of the Planning Commission agenda. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments to the Planning Commissioners. Each speaker and email reading is limited to 3 minutes. Email comments will be read out loud after all speakers have been heard. Anyone wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by pressing *9. When instructed, press *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining us through Zoom app may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature on Zoom. All right, it looks like we do have someone wishing to speak. So Steve, if you don't mind letting that caller in. All right, caller, if you can go ahead and press *6 to unmute yourself. All right, and now for the record, if you can go ahead and state your name.
Oscar, right there in Shoal Street.
Okay, you can go ahead and address your comments to the commissioners.
Sure. I would just like to say I oppose this plan that you guys have to for the billboard. It's unnecessary, and there's other issues that need to be addressed in that area instead of it. Ultimately, this is going to affect the property values around there, and it's going to be an unpleasant sight for the rest of the life that billboard is there. So it's something that's unnecessary. There's flooding in that street every time it rains. There's one sewer for those 2 streets, and it gets flooded. We lost 2 cars there, 3 actually, 2 years ago. So that's something to look into instead of this. And as well, the business center there, they leave their cars outside for days, and there's been multiple complaints on this, and nothing has been done. So I would like other issues addressed first before something like this that's completely unnecessary, and it's not really going to bring any value to the residents that live around there. And those are my comments, and I mean, if any of that can get addressed, that would be appreciated.
Sorry, if there's anyone else wishing to speak, if you can raise your hand using the app or pressing *9. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the written comment. Okay, this written comment was submitted by Melissa on Shoal Street. This is, do not agree to the adding billboard without residents vote/approval on Shoal Street, Habanera, as this would be a daily eyesore to our community. Based on research, I have found that billboards built near residential homes will cause a long-term negative impact on the value of the homes. I ask that you do not move forward with this plan. The little monetary value the city will receive from this billboard does not outweigh the negative impact we residents slash homeowners will have to deal with, suffer if a billboard is built. Additional comments were made. These comments are non-agenda item related, so we'll go ahead and announce those at the end of the meeting. That concludes the comments for this item.
Thank you. If there's no objections by the planning commission, I will close the public hearing. No objections, I will close it. Commissions, any comments? Before we go to the only comments, I want to ask Carmen if it can direct us on one of the comments where it says the water problem over there, which is probably not the issue today, but maybe we can indicate to the viewers where they need to go so they can make these concerns regarding the raising water over there.
Chairperson Rivera, members of the Planning Commission. Um, so the only item, the only issue at hand with this item is the finding of consistency between on the summary vacation or on the vacation of the portion of the street with the circulation element of the general plan. So that's what's being discussed under this item tonight. All the other concerns that was brought up by the speaker, as well as the written email that was sent to us, we can address those separately through the Public Works Department. And we'll be happy to speak with the director in that department to see how we can best address those issues. But those concerns are not part of this item tonight.
I thought we have some places or some numbers we can give them, but if not, we can address this other stuff item at the end, I guess, of the meeting.
We can also, oh, Chairperson Rivera, I believe, if you can mute yourself, yeah. So we do have the email, and I believe the email has the phone number for Melissa, right? Vanessa? An email, so we can communicate with Melissa. And then do we get a phone number for the gentleman that spoke? Okay, and we have phone number for the gentleman that spoke earlier, so that way we can get back to them and address those other concerns individually.
Thank you. I know these items are not, probably not the same as this, but out of respect for the public, I think we should, if they have some concerns, we need to follow up and give them the information so they can get over with their concerns regarding those two issues. Back on the item, commissions, we have any questions for the staff?
No, just to add on to Chairperson Rivera's comments, just so that we don't, dismiss their concerns, their valid concerns. I think also too, if you could maybe reach out to traffic or parks and traffic, or sorry, police about those unparked cars, or not seeing them move a lot. So maybe they can, just drive by and see, how often, or if those cars move or not, just to add on to their list of concerns. But other than that, I don't have anything else.
Commissions? No, we don't have no questions, then I might have
Actually, I do. On the comment, on the concern that based on research on Melissa's, based on research, I found that billboards building residential homes will cause a long-term negative impact on the value of homes. Can we address that? On, maybe answer the concerns on that.
Um,
Can you answer?
Chairperson Rivera, and I think Ms. Flores needs to mute herself. There you go. So unfortunately, the person that represents the city and the billboard company had a conflicting meeting time. He might be joining the meeting in a few minutes, Scott Shelton, and he would probably be the best person to ask. We do have one already in town, and this type of signs are basically being installed along the freeways in many communities around Bell Gardens. Number one, because they're efficient, they're very effective in terms of relating messages, multiple messages within a matter of minutes. They generate some income to the cities if located on public land or public property, but more so because the level of intensity on the lighting is minimal. So if any of you have driven by the one on Clara, by the bicycle casino parking lot, you'll notice that unless you're coming from Cudahy, you really don't see the sign there because the way the sign is angled on the property, it doesn't, it's not facing the illuminated portion of the sign, it's not facing the residential neighborhood in the city of Bell Gardens. Adrian, can you go to the presentation and the slide where it shows the general location of the sign? So if we go to this one. So if you see this right here, and this right here shows the face of the face of the sign. So the sign is going to be facing to the north and to the south, and not to the east where the residential properties are located. But again, these signs are the technology on those signs have improved tremendously since the the last one that was there many years ago that was causing some issues with brightness in all hours of the day. This technology is just very efficient. Um, so, however, like I said, the person that represents the city is not in the meeting. He had a conflicting meeting, and I'm not able to provide you with the statistics in terms of or data in terms of property value, whether they will increase or decrease. But the sign itself is oriented to where those residential properties will not be impacted.
Carmen, what I want to mention, I guess, on this item, we only trying to vacate the land, right? At this time.
This item is only, Mr. Rivera, you need to mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. This item is only a finding of consistency. If the street was to be vacated, the planning commission must find that the vacation is going to be consistent with the circulation element of the general plan. In other words, what we're saying is this portion of the street is really not used to the city, and the vacation is not impacting any of the streets in the city of Bell Gardens. Later on, like I said, next week on Monday, the city council will then consider the vacation, the summer vacation of that portion of the street. All we're doing tonight is saying if that portion of the street is vacated, it's not impacting the street, the street system in the city of Bell Gardens because it's basically it's not of much use.
I will answer your question, Commissioner. Okay,
Thank you, Carmen.
we don't have any more questions. I might entertain a motion for this item.
I have a question in regards mainly to the content that that the billboard is going to be displaying. My question mainly is, does the city have any say as to or approval as to what media is placed on that billboard, or is just the media company that has some control over that? But it seems to me that today's meeting is just determining whether it's obstructing the nearby uh, residencies and streets.
Carmen, can you answer that
Sure.
question?
The company Upfront Media is the company who's going to be operating this sign. They are currently operating the existing sign, the brand new one that was installed on Clara. And so the city doesn't have any say on the type of advertisement other than it cannot be obscene of an obscene message. Um, and then and then the sign, the company itself regulates who's going to be on the sign.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you, Carmen. Now, another thing is, we're gonna get, at the time that we get in the proposal of the board, are we gonna get another hearing on this item or not?
The item, if I remember correctly, and you have to be muted, Mr. Rivera. Um, if I remember correctly, the sign itself, the design of the sign will come back to you. But, right, Adrian, I see you shaking your head. I think so. So we'll bring that design back to you, and it'll probably be very similar to the one that is on Clara, just to make it all consistent. Uh, so that will be a second, that will be for the actual sign installation, that the planning commission will have an opportunity to review it. But like I said, it will go through multiple layers of approval. The next approval will be the actual vacation next week, the summer vacation. And I believe after that, there's maybe one more approval at the city council meeting, plus the sign itself at the planning commission meeting. Oh, Commissioner, Chairperson Rivera, there is one person, Vanessa tells me, that just got on the phone or it's online waiting to be heard. But for that, I believe, Lori, the public hearing would have to be reopened. So I just want to flag it to you that there's one person that wishes to speak, okay?
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any objection to go back on the public hearing to reopen it? No objections? We'll reopen the public comments so you can let us hear his comments.
Yes, Chairperson. Anyone wishing to speak, if you can please raise your hand now using the *9 feature. Okay. Melissa, you can go ahead and speak. We'll go ahead and have IT let you in.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. If you can go ahead and state your name just for the record, and then you can go ahead and speak. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Melissa Galindo, and I live on Shoal Street. I've lived here for a very long time now. My concern is, I don't understand why there has to be, this will be number 3 billboard within maybe, we have one right behind us, Firestone. You have one in Clara. Now you're gonna put another one in between? what purpose do, what do you call those things? 3 billboards have to do with, you know, putting out messages out there. It's just 3 of them back to back. You don't even have them in like within miles distance. They're right next to each other. What does that do for us as a community who have to drive home, or residents that live here? I don't get it.
How does that benefit us? And then,
You know, what community is it going to bring money to the community where you actually fix the park? Um, you know, issues that I've called
There's
about
homeless every
numerous
day.
times, but this kind of does infuriate me. I don't see the purpose of having one more, you know, item that just makes the city look more polluted.
wait, is this gonna happen for sure, or do we have, can we
No, it's
sign a
not yet.
petition?
Not yet. So I just want to see, what is Bell Gardens? What do we get out of that? You know, do you want to come home and drive and see 3 billboards back to back to back?
Would you guys like it?
It doesn't make sense. Makes no sense to me.
I don't think nobody would like coming home to a big
You know, and you say that the lighting might be a little minimal.
It's not.
It's not. It is not. We already have cables everywhere, you know, trash on the floor. You know, I really appreciate the Bell Gardens Park. There's a man, I forgot his name, but he tries really hard to keep that park clean. Then I have to walk my dog. I already have to see blankets on the slides,
People sleep on the slides.
you know, pee, poop. There's trash everywhere. And on top of that, I'm gonna have one more shiny billboard? Come on. It makes no sense. Think of the community. Think of the children at first. Worry about the billboards later. It makes no sense to me. Why I have to come home and see one more electronic device in my face. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. I don't get how Bell Gardens will benefit from this if this brings jobs. What jobs to other cities? They're going to advertise like Southgate, and is it going to advertise jobs in Bell Gardens? Parks in Bell Gardens? Activities for the youth in Bell Gardens? Is this going to relay at least messages for the Bell Gardens community? Senior activities? The pool center being open? Pool still closed. I don't know, maybe they opened there last year, but are you going to add at least messages for our community in that damn billboard? Or is it just another shopping center that gets another ad? Come on, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what are they gonna advertise?
What are you going to advertise on top of that? Just, that's all I have to say. It really pisses me off. That it's even a consideration at this point. Ridiculous.
Thank you, Melissa, for your comments. All right, is there anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, there's no more callers.
Nobody else? We're gonna go back, we're gonna close the public hearing. Back to the members, any more questions?
Well, Melissa seemed to express concern as to the light, right? She says that where her location is, she has another 2 that she sees. And it seems like, what if there's more people who also have that same concern, that it's maybe too bright or it bothers them?
Um, Following that comment, and looking at the diagram that was shown on the PowerPoint, if we take a look at the angle of of the display of the billboard, I feel that it would cause light pollution into the park, and I don't know, that doesn't sit well with me. And following Melissa's comment in regards to the trash and lack of maintenance in between the freeway and the park, I feel like that must be addressed. Um, you know, primarily if we're trying to like set up a billboard in that section or in that region, just by glancing at the Google Maps, um, it's evident to see that there's like homeless campsites on the lateral side of the freeway and the park. So, I think these are things that must be addressed beforehand. And also, I would also be advocating for for the adjustment of the angle of the billboard in that area. So it's just my thoughts at the moment.
Yeah, I will make this comment. Thank you very much. But also, I will say the other sign that's on the other side where is Arco, that belongs to Southgate. That doesn't belong to Bell Gardens. And the only one we have that we just put in there, I believe, if I remember correctly, the city was gonna get 12,000 or plus per month uh, for the city, uh, plus any commissions on the advertisement. So yes, the city will benefit. In this particular one, I was over there this afternoon, pointing the way the sign should be, the way they want to target the view from the freeway, coming north and going south. Uh, I don't think there's any room for the lights to blind any place in there. It's a big space. Uh, but at this time, we don't have nothing for we're gonna get this sign later to deny, or I guess to see what they want to put on far as the sign is concerned and what they're gonna have. We don't know how much is the offer at this time. We just wanna, I guess we wanna just, at this time, vacate the location so it can stage, I would say, step number one. Um, we're just barely gonna start walking, I guess. Um, or calling and then walking later on. At this time, I don't see the preoccupation as far as where is gonna be the light, even so that I know the way is scheduled because of the way the freeway is going. It's not gonna throw any lights to the residential. If you see the other one in Clark that we put, I went through there and I don't see any problems at this time. And I talked to some residents over there. But anyway, so I would like to see what the commission's anything to say in regard to this issue. If not, I would entertain a motion.
Yeah, if I may, Carmen, is it safe to say that the first billboard that we put up that will reap the same benefits for this one if it passes, as far as like monetary benefits?
That is correct, Mr. Leon. It's the same. My understanding, oh, there's somebody, okay. I'm not involved in the negotiations with Upfront Media. However, my understanding is that it's going to be this a similar agreement for the second billboard.
And as again, as a comment, I wish we know how much money is going to be coming into the city, money that we need for all the service that we do in the city. Uh, so I'm sure it's going to be more than 10,000, but I don't know yet for sure. So we need to wait for those numbers and that information on the next presentation. At this time, like I say, we just want to do this vacated.
Chairperson Rivera, if I may, if you can unmute yourself. Just a quick question for maybe Doug, maybe Lloyd. In terms of what the Planning Commission is doing tonight, which is making a finding of consistency for the vacation with the city of Bell Gardens circulation element of the general plan. If in the future this vacation doesn't go through by the city council, correct, next week, then the sign is not installed, what would be the harm of making this finding of consistency tonight?
All right, Lloyd Pilchin, City Attorney. So Carmen is correct that the action tonight is just about the street vacation, but it's clearly part of a bigger picture And the planning commission is not required to make this finding tonight. Um, the planning commission could continue the item if it wanted more information. But it is true that the no billboard is being approved tonight. And in fact, there isn't even a street vacation tonight because that still has to be done by the city council. And that the question before the planning commission is simply whether the vacation is consistent with the general plan, which staff is making the case that it's not needed for public use.
Thank you. Thank you for the explanation. So, members?
Just as a comment, um, I pass by the Clara's billboard every day on my way to work and from work as well. And so far, all the other advertisements that I've seen is in regards to what it is going on in the city and nothing else. Just to put it out there.
Yeah, and to add on to what Chairperson Rivera said, I mean, we don't know the exact cost or like benefits as far as, the revenue that we generate from this, but top of my head, it was significant for us to be able to approve the one on Clara. Now, it'd be great to see how that goes in back into our city, so that way we can maybe provide a peace of mind to the residents that, that are concerned about this coming into place. But yeah, I mean, we can maybe hopefully open it. Again, it's not to approve it. It's just to approve the vacation, right? So just to give another peace of mind to the residents that called, it's not a matter of today to put the sign up today. It's just, I guess, that initial step. And then we can further provide a further analysis for everyone.
That's correct. So, again, I would entertain a motion if we don't have no more questions.
I have a quick little question and comment. If this were to go forward, right, the billboard and stuff, can we confidently say that that is the best location for it here in Bell Gardens? Like concerning environmental wise, with the caller earlier, Melissa, how she said that in her location she has, with this one would be her third billboard, right? So she's saying about how the lights. So can we say that that location it would be the best, so no one else can have any concerns? If that makes sense.
Chairperson Rivera, Ms. Flores, can you mute yourself?
Yes.
So the billboard company, before a location is established, runs a number of studies. Obviously, there are distance separation that is required between one billboard and the next billboard. This location happens to be within the limitations that are set. Um, in addition to that, the billboard company runs additional studies including light and glare and how the billboard is to operate. So yes, to say this location was found to be the best location for the second billboard in the city. And it's between the one on Clara and the one in the city of Southgate.
Thank you, Carmen.
Answer your question. Thank you. Any more questions, Commission? If we're not, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the general plan consistency of the vacation of a segment of the Jaboneria Road and Show Street, resolution number PC 2021-10.
Do I have a second? No second? I can second it myself.
I second.
Oh, you second? So can you give me a roll call, please?
Commissioner De La Rosa?
Yes.
Sorry, Commissioner De La Rosa,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Leon,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Villalobos,
Yes.
and Chair Rivera.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Public hearing, item number 2, zoning code amendment number 2021-058, ordinance number 921, electronic billboard file number 2021-058. Presentation will be given by Adrian.
Good evening, Chairperson Rivera and Commissioners. Tonight, I will be providing you guys with the staff report for zoning code amendment number 2021-058, ordinance number 921. Now, a little background on the electronic billboard overlay district. Ordinance number 886 was adopted by the City Council in January of 2018 to create electronic billboard overlay district to allow a couple of things. Essentially, to allow the construction of billboard signs in a planned manner, subject to controls and regulations governing the design. Also, to allow the operation of electronic billboards within the overlay district. Essentially, this ordinance was put to place that way we're able to regulate how electronic billboards are approved and reviewed. Now, a little background on electronic billboards. There are signs that are primarily used for commercial advertising, but they could also be used for public service purposes. They could be used to display some advertising with some city programs, some city events, but also as well with commercial advertising. They could also offer potential uh, source for revenue and other public benefits to cities when construction operation of the billboards are permitted on publicly owned properties. Now, just to overview of what ordinance number 919 entails is it proposes amendment to section 9.40.065 electronic billboard regulation standards. Now, this is an existing language in the code right now. However, the cross will show what we're removing and the underline will show what we're adding. So we are planning to have this read, electronic billboard shall be placed at least 150 feet from any residential zone or residential use. The measurement shall be from the closest edge of the billboard to the nearest residential zone or boundary line of property on which a residential use is located. However, this distance requirement may be reduced or eliminated if the City Council makes their finding regarding light impacts set forth in Part F of this section, which takes us to the second section we will be amending under Ordinance 919. Now, under Part F, application requirements, subpart 2C, findings, approval of agreement, we're going to add the following findings. Now, the City Council must determine that artificial light and glare impacts of the billboard, that the proposed electronic billboard are at less than 150 feet from a residential zone or residential use is not significantly greater than they would be at a distance of 150 feet, as demonstrated to the satisfaction of the city by a study of particular site. So essentially, what we are doing is we're providing City Council with the ability to review billboards that are within 100 feet from any residential zone or use through a study that will be analyzing the artificial light and glare impacts of the billboard. So this could address some issues that residents might have in terms of the billboard being too bright or, disturbing them when they're driving and so forth. Now, it's staff recommendation that we open the public hearing and receive public testimony and adopt Planning Commission Resolution PC 2021-11, recommending the following action to the City Council. which is approval of zoning code amendment number 2021-058 and adoption of ordinance number 921 amending Title 9 of the Bell Gardens Municipal Code, Chapter 9.40, signs, under section 9.40.05665, electronic billboard regulations and standards. That concludes my presentation. And staff is available for any questions you may have. Thank you.
City Clerk, do we have anybody who wish to speak in this item?
I'll go ahead and check, Chairperson Rivera, are we opening up the public hearing at this time?
You announced that the
Yeah.
public hearing is open.
We didn't announce it yet.
Did you announce it? Oh, so you need to announce
Oh,
public hearing now.
yes. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me open the public hearing. Now, do we have any who wish to speak on this item? Sorry.
Thank you, Chairperson Rivera. There are no written comments. We'll now open the lines to see if there's anyone wishing to speak. The members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on the items listed on item number 2 for the Planning Commission agenda. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments to the Planning Commissioners. Each speaker and email reading is limited to 3 minutes. Email comments will be read out loud after all speakers have been heard. Anyone wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by pressing *9. When instructed, press *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining us through the Zoom app may request to make a comment using the raise hand feature on Zoom. Okay, it looks like we have one speaker wishing to speak. Melissa, we'll go ahead and let you in. All right, Melissa, can you hear us?
Hi, yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Melissa. I do have two quick questions. Are us residents on Shoal Street allowed to sign a petition to stop this from happening? And also, what was the other question?
Electronic radiation.
What about electronic radiation to us living nearby the billboard? Is that going to affect our health as well? So I would like to know those two questions. That's it.
Thank you for your comments. All right, is there anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none? There are no more comments.
Thank you. Well, if any objections with the council, I will close public hearing. Members, any questions?
No, I just want to say again, for the residents, Melissa and the rest of them, residents are in the area that are concerned, this is definitely not, approval of us saying that we're going to build a sign tomorrow. Of course, you can voice your concern to, city council. Again, we're going to have analysis to provide to residents about economic factors, financial factors, and then we can ultimately make a decision then. But again, just rest assured, this is not, gonna an approval to make it right away or to do this right away. It's just, to make that step. So hopefully that brings some reassurance to tonight.
Any more questions? Carmen, any billboard that will be presented to the city, it will need to come as a CUP to the planning commission, correct?
Chairperson Rivera, your question is any billboard that prior to installation, will it have to come to the city, to the planning commission? Yes, it will, the design of the billboard will come back to the planning commission. Once, the summer vacation, goes through or is approved by the city council. And then after that, I believe there are, if not one, two more meetings or two more, phases to this process that will need to be approved at the council level. And then the very last piece would be the design of the billboard sign prior to, its installation. And that will require planning commission's approval.
Thank you. Commissioners, any more questions to the staff? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the zoning code amendment number 2021-058, ordinance number 921.
A second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Please, City Clerk, will you give us a roll call?
Yes, Chairperson Rivera. Commissioner De La Rosa,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Leon,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Villalobos,
Yes.
and Chairperson Rivera.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. Any comments from the staff?
Chairperson Rivera, I believe the next, item on the agenda is consent calendar, which, there are none. And then the next one is public comment on non-agenda items. And I believe, Vanessa has a few to read to the record.
Yes, we have comments that were submitted earlier from Melissa that were actually non-agenda item related. So at this time, I'll go ahead and read those comments out loud. So there are other underlying issues that I would ask you to find solutions to. Flooding that happens when it rains, backed up sewer causes water to rise up to inside our vehicles. Business from business centers leave their cars parked on the street for days, makes it hard to find parking day to day. More sanitary parks for our children, no control on homeless living on our parks, using empty lots to build tents and to bring in more trash. Drug use, not safe for our community or children, especially during COVID. That concludes her comments. At this time, I'll go ahead and see if there's anyone else wishing to make a non-agenda item comments. Looks like there's no other speakers.
Carmen, uh, we, we're gonna direct these two questions that we have in here because, we don't have the solution. I guess it needs to be addressed in a different form on this flooding, what's happened on, when it rains. And, the other problem with the car parking on the street and, they have, some issues over there. So we need to, uh, follow up on this one. Some of these items, it doesn't, we don't have any, for lack of words, any power to do the remedy, but can you direct them so they can get the system on this?
Yes, Chairperson Rivera, um, they'll be directed to the appropriate departments. And those departments will probably be in contact with the person that wrote to us the email, Melissa, So yes, we'll go ahead and get that over to those departments tomorrow. Thank you.
Mr. Lloyd, we're gonna have, before I forget on this stuff coming, regarding some the cancellation of the meeting on the 17th, so we can have it on record.
Mr. Rivera, before we go to commissioners' comments, I have a quick staff comment, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay. Um, so I just want to make sure that we, staff, has a good understanding of what would be the best way to communicate with the commissioners on any, matters, that are related to the planning commission. That could be anywhere from, calling for a special meeting, uh, transmitting agendas to the commissioners, or just getting some general information. Um, and I just want to make sure that I, can relate this information to Erica. So we do have personal emails for each one of you. And the city IT department also set up, city, email, addresses for each one of you. And I would like to know, whether the commissioners feel that any communication, uh, is best to send to your personal email addresses versus the city, even though we would like to keep the city as the official, email address for any, city-related, matters, or if you wish to be notified at both, just to make sure that everybody gets those notifications. So you let me know what you prefer, and I'll relay that to Erica. We can either go straight to the city, we, only use the city, we can also just use your personal, or we can use both, whichever you prefer.
I
Both
would,
would be great.
I would say, Carmen, on my point of view, it would be the cities. I was disconnected, prior when, last time when I would restate it again. Um, so we need to make sure that we are connected, but I will ask if you keep me on the city. I don't wanna use my personal for the city business. If you need to, it's okay, but I mean, a regular communication needs to be done through the city, website.
How do the rest of the commissioners feel?
Yeah, I agree with Chairperson Rivera as well. If I can do the city as well.
Um, on my behalf, like either or both would be good. I guess like the personal one ensures that the message is relayed directly to you, and the um, the city email would ensure that it's all being kept on record. But in my opinion, well, in my preference, both would work. But I'm also open to just keep it on with the city email as well.
You got you got to answer your question, Carmen?
Oh, I don't mind if it's on either. Or it, for both for me, it's good.
And what about you, Mr. Leon?
Yeah, both would be perfect for me.
Thank you, commissioners. And on behalf of the, as part of the staff comments, on behalf of the City of Bell Gardens, Community Development Department, Adrian, Gus, Erica, myself, we want to wish you a very, happy holidays, happy New Year, Merry Christmas to you and your families. And we would like to thank you for, your dedication throughout this entire year. I know it takes time out of your busy lives, to, come to these meetings, review agendas, and, um, and be involved in the decisions that are made here tonight. It's a big responsibility on your end, and we really appreciate your dedication to the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. Go ahead,
Okay,
Mr.
thank you, Carmen.
Thank you, Chair Rivera. So the regular planning commission meeting in December will be canceled and that a cancellation notice will be posted. So the next meeting of the planning commission will be the regular meeting in January, which is January 19th? January 19th. Thank you, Chair Rivera.
Thank you. Commissions, any comments?
Yeah, I hate to sound like a broken record, but for Melissa and Oscar, residents and concerned, again, we'll have another opportunity for them to voice their concerns. Gives you ample time to reach out to your neighbors and talk about your concerns, and that way you can have a collective agreement as to what you want to decide. But again, we definitely want to emphasize that we want to look out to the best interests of the city, and again, the benefits that this could bring to community. But again, we're not dismissing any concerns for our residents in the area. So. Um, Thank you, staff, for bringing this to our attention. I know you bring the best interests of the city, and happy holidays, everyone.
Just to add on to everyone, thank you so much, everyone, for your dedication to all of us too. And happy holidays.
Yeah, I would like to acknowledge staff's dedication and hard work for the city of Bell Gardens. It doesn't go unnoticed, and yeah, I would like to thank also the residents for being outspoken about their opinions and how these agenda items could potentially affect their experience in the city. Um, in regards to the agenda items today, we're obviously in the initial stages of this process. We're still not sure if it's going to move forward or not, but just in my opinion, if it does move forward in the future, I would like to see the revenue being used to improve, the conditions of Julia Asmus Park, and also the portion in between the freeway as well. I believe Caltrans has jurisdiction over that region, but we'll see, and time will tell. But to everyone else, everyone, residents, happy holidays. We'll see each other soon.
I would just like to say thank you to the staff and for all your hard work as well. That just like Mr. De La Rosa said, it goes unnoticed. And to the commissioners as well, that we're all taking our time to be here and to be able to be part of this process for the city to progress. We're like, it's just like the motto of the city, we're the hub of progress. And I would just like to say happy holidays to everyone and stay safe.
Okay. I just would like to say we had a kind of rough year, but thanks God that we doing good. Um, to all the members for the hard work, thank you. The staff, you done a good job for presenting to us to the best of your knowledge. I think it's very professional. Thank you very much. Um, I'm looking forward for the next year to be very busy so we can start. I mean, I don't mind to spend 3 hours if we're gonna be good for the city. But anyway, thank you very much, and happy holidays. Stay safe, please. We like to see you next year. Thank you very much, and I will need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
adjourn. Have a nice one.